Hi, I'm Christine Schwarz, co-founder of Virtual Round Ballers, where we're creating sports games in mixed reality, starting in basketball with the first movement simulation of the game. Just providing access to sports to those without skills, resources, or time, and really just give people an opportunity, and especially kids, to get off the couch and start playing a game that they love.
What is your background as far as being in this field, this new idea? What is your background as far as getting into this stuff?
Sure. I've always been passionate about fitness and well-being and sports, but my background's been mostly across entrepreneurial companies and startups across finance, marketing, and sales. So I have a
Okay.
solid business background. And then working with a couple fitness companies and having my own personal training company where I saw firsthand how sports can impact kids and adults in a very
Mhm.
positive way. And my own personal story is that I grew up with immigrant parents who really didn't promote sports, especially for a daughter. And so it wasn't until high school that I tried out for all the high school teams because my friends were playing. I thought, oh, this is my chance.
Yeah.
And didn't make a single one. Of course, I realized like you got to practice. You have to practice for a while. So it doesn't come easy. Anyway, so then my last year in college, I met this phenomenal trainer who got me into weight training. And then when I turned 30, working for a startup, I actually went on to compete for ESPN's Muscle Mania bodybuilding competition and won.
Okay. All right.
So, worked with a sports nutritionist, got my body fat down to just under 6% body fat. And I did 3 different competitions that season. It was a lot.
Yeah.
But really, my trainer was really instrumental in like just creating this mindset for me that I've carried throughout where he just said, "You know what? I don't want you to ever hear the word can't come from you. So if I tell you to pick up that weight, I want you to just do it." And really like push the limits of what I could do. And just within a year of training with him, I could squat over 300 pounds. I could bench press my weight. So it was really remarkable about just learning the discipline and getting so much confidence out of that. And I really want to share that with and make that impact for kids today, especially today. I was also the wellness chairman for a K through 8 school district where I implemented a lot of after school programs for the kids, including yoga, an after school bike club because we had trails nearby. Most parents didn't even realize it. And then also just on their website, they let me have a few pages just to educate parents like this is what a healthy breakfast looks like,
Mhm.
and the nutrients they need to learn and move. And then work with the local park district to get some after school programs using the high school kids who needed those social impact hours just to help them like, hey, let's just play basketball today. No pressure. And I think especially with social media today, kids are really afraid to try anything new because they feel like they need to be an expert. And even in doing game activations with our game now, it's like parents come up to me and they tell me like my kid already feels like they're not good enough to try out for a team. And even like girls finding confidence in playing our game. I had a mom come up to me and she said she's never seen her 12-year-old play that competitively like
Mhm.
she did in our game. And that's
Yeah.
kind of like the magic of virtual reality. I mean, you can become anyone you want in that,
Mhm.
and it really just allows you to embody being an athlete and what that feels like.
Yeah. That's definitely true. I mean, I am a former athlete. I definitely understand all of that. The bodybuilding, I had bodybuilder friends because obviously I had to work out.
Mhm.
I've never known what it's like to not work out. I've been working out since I was in diapers pretty much. So, like all of the, eating healthy, and I played just about every sport you could think of. But
Mhm.
I mean, it is different now because I mean, for one, the kids just aren't really playing sports like that. Everybody is inside and,
Right.
on the phone or whatever the case may be. But I'm only in my 30s, and I mean, I'm old enough to remember where everybody was outside, playing in the
Mhm.
street and, playing games and stuff like that. We didn't even have a basketball court. We had a milk crate and a telephone pole, and we made it work,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it was like it's like goes from that to like kids, like you said, they don't even they don't even try anymore. They don't even how good they are, even if they are any
Mhm.
good. But as far as like, the curriculums and stuff like in schools and whatnot, I do yoga now. I would have loved to do
Right.
yoga, especially if it was like an after school program or something like that. That would have been really cool. Like,
Mhm.
what do you think now as far as like how that sort of works out, kind of compared to like when you were just in the thick of it? Because I'm under the impression now that the schools are sort of not really. I mean, they might be trying to, I guess, get to a more healthier place as far as like what they're eating and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
as far as like programs and like things for them to do, like after school and like keep them engaged and stuff, I'm not really sure if that is either been fostered or it's just not forefront right now. Like, what do you think of like, where we are with, kids not really wanting to do the certain type of thing?
Yeah, and I think to your point, it just depends on the school district and the funding, honestly, because if they don't have or their allocation of their budget toward that, if it's
Mhm.
not really a priority for them, it's not going to get funded. And even though when I did it, and that was like a few years back, I mean, I had a 0 budget, but I found volunteers, with
Mhm.
parents who were yoga instructors who were happy to provide that, and we just charged, like, maybe $5 a class,
Mhm.
and I did it for the teachers too because you really wanna and I think it also you have to find an internal champion that really wants to make that happen.
Hmm.
Because they might try to pilot programs, but if there's no one internally within the school district that wants to foster
Yeah.
that and keep it going, it's not gonna be sustainable.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, I think it just depends on the resources and all of that. But it's an epidemic. I mean, kids aren't moving, period, and they're gaming, they're on their phones, so it's a lot, and I even see it with, young parents today. A lot of them just simply give them an iPad to entertain them.
Mhm.
So it starts really early on screens.
Yeah, which I mean, I guess everybody does sort of live their life on screens these days, but there's always a balance. And I mean, I ain't ashamed to say these kids are fat. They're very lethargic. As someone who is a former athlete, it never kind of made any sense to me. But
Mhm.
you'll definitely understand it when you get to your 30s and 40s if you're not,
Yeah, it
taking care of
catches
your
up.
body too, yeah. Like, cause I mean, I made it through relatively unscathed with injuries and stuff, but
Mhm.
I can feel my knees, I can feel it in my joints and stuff sometimes, so, yeah, I think that definitely needs to be more at the forefront. Do you still compete?
No, I don't have time to compete. That's like
Okay.
another level.
It
But I still train and lift weights, lift heavy. So, and I think it's really important for females. Like a lot of like females I know, they're like afraid to like lift heavy. And it's like
Yeah.
finally there's science and coming out now that say it's really important for longevity to like lift. Our game resonated with people in their 30s and 40s and 50s who used to play and just don't have time for league play and they
Mhm.
find the gym to be boring. They want some variety and play some sports again.
Talk about the game a little bit more. First, how it came about and its implementation and start, and then at its core, like what is it that you're trying to do with it? We kind of talked about it a little bit, but just kind of touch on full picture view of it.
Sure. Well, we're just starting out. We've got our like demo game done. It's
Mhm.
defense only just because we wanted to allow all people to play,
Mhm.
regardless if you've ever played the game. And coming from it, not as a gamer or even like a developer, it was really important for us to develop something that was like intuitive
Mhm.
for a fan of the game who's like, I would love to try that. And so that was really the lens from which we really developed this defense. And you start in a virtual locker room that gets you acclimated to VR, and then you get transported into this virtual, or you start in a VIP lounge, and then you get transferred to a VIP or a locker room where there's a coach and they take your measurements while you have the MetaQuest headset and hand controls. So based on where they are, we take your wingspan, your hand measurements, your height, and then we actually have you jump for your vertical. And then that programs the adaptive AI of the avatar you compete against. So you don't have to pre-select beginner, intermediate, or advanced. And so it reacts, the avatar then reacts in real time to your own movements. So it works like a golf handicap. So it
Mhm.
allows, because we knew it would suck if people got blown by every time by the
Yeah.
avatar. It
Yeah.
wouldn't be any fun. And we've had kids as young as like 10 play and as old as like 91 and
Hmm,
have a really great time. And the
interesting.
avatar that you compete against talks some trash each time. And so you can block, you can steal, you can draw a charge. And then we'll add where the avatar can try to do a jump shot so you can like physically jump up and try to block them. And we wanted to really test it early on with real basketball fans. So we just cold called a bunch of NBA teams. And really, the best partner we could have partnered with are the Cavs. And they were awesome to work with. And so we demoed the game in their VIP section of their G League home games for a
Okay,
season.
cool.
And then we did surveys on everyone, and they gave us their hockey tickets as the prize for the high score of the night,
Huh.
and, so it was awesome because I wanted to see reactions in real time playing
Yeah,
versus just blind surveys because people wanna make you feel good and say, "Oh, yeah, it was great," you know? So this way I could tell, like, are people enjoying it or not?
yeah.
And, so it was great for that, and we ended up winning G League Partnership Activation of the Year award among all 29 G League teams. President of the G League even came through one night and played the game, and,
Hmm,
yeah, so and then the Cavs asked us to do their playoff game that year for the fans, and so they put it right in Rocket Arena in great right on the concourse, and
yeah,
so it was really great because we also project what you see on a large screen for our activation so that that really draws in a huge crowd and people are cheering
yeah.
for each other.
That's pretty
So,
cool.
yeah, so now I'm just looking for we always need investment because VR is not cheap. So in tandem with, like, just looking for angel investors, right now I'm also looking for corporate brands so we can activate at NBA and WNBA games for the
Mhm.
fans. And
Yeah.
then we can put in and this is what we plan to do for the game when we launch it on the Meta App Store, that we will put in male and female college players in the games that you can download and compete against, along with NBA and WNBA legends.
Yeah. That'll be
So,
pretty cool.
yeah, and we're starting with Chris Mullen. He's one of our advisors.
Okay,
He'll be
yeah.
the first legend.
Chris Mullin, yeah. I
Yeah.
used to have a basketball with Chris Mullin's signature on it.
Well,
Sure did.
awesome. Yeah, and plus, it makes it fun for, like, different generations of basketball fans to be able to play, someone that they loved. So it's almost like I'm trying to bring it's the spirit of the Wii, the
Mhm.
Nintendo Wii,
Yeah.
getting, like, families to connect over sports in a
Mhm.
fun way.
And so what was the path to, putting it in VR and all that stuff? Was that intentional or did it just sort of, I guess, happen like that? Because you say you're not necessarily like a game developer and things like that. How many sort of moving pieces was it like when
Mhm.
you were first kind of getting things rolling and you guys were, bouncing ideas around?
Well, we first thought we could do it as a physical, like, in-venue event
Mhm.
to give people an idea, what it's like to play like a pro. But then, I'm like, no, VR is just coming out or having its second resurgence because it
Mhm.
started, probably 2 decades ago in its
Yeah.
infancy. But I said, no, let's do it in VR. It makes it accessible. We can get it around the world, and it's really gives you that immersive feeling. And so then we just looked for developers that are experienced in that and got our MVP built and then tested it with basketball fans and just building out my network of developers and my startup was even selected last year at the largest AR/VR conference that's held in Long Beach each year as one of the startups to watch. So I was
Okay.
one of 10 selected.
Very nice.
Yeah, so made connections through that and continue to build out because it's really critical to achieve awareness of what you're building and
Mhm.
build that community.
Yeah.
So really, I've been intentional in, trying to get playtesters to sign up. So when I'm ready for that beta to go live, that I have a community of testers.
Mhm.
And then the ones that really like it and want to provide feedback, they can join my Discord then. And then we would just iterate features based on what the community likes and just making those partnerships in different distribution channels. So and just through networking, I've established a lot of great connections, not just in the VR space, but around sports as well.
Mhm.
Hoping to activate at youth basketball tournaments.
Yeah. I was just gonna say AAU, that culture is going through the roof right now as
Right.
far as that, and then, you brought up the WNBA, that was the first thing that I thought of because I
Mhm,
mean, they're trying to find every way to grow the game and,
mhm.
all of that stuff. Be able to that would be cool to be able to guard some of the, top WNBA players, but that's pretty cool that, you've already gotten some teams to be able to see it and, sort of get an idea of what it actually is, and
And
I
then
guess
there's college hoops too,
yeah, I was
and
gonna say, and then
and
that
those
sort of works
tournaments.
itself with, how NIL and all of that stuff taking off right now too, so, yeah, and I mean, college basketball, especially, March Madness and all of that good stuff,
Mhm.
so, I mean, you'd have a lot of opportunities for sure. What sort of timeline do you see as far as, like, trying to get, I guess, a beta and all of that stuff? Like, how is the, workflow and timeline going?
Yeah, probably close to end of the year, we'll probably have something just because it's gonna take, like, 2 to 3 months depending on what features we want, but just a rough beta,
Mhm.
a couple months of development that we can get in there, and so it just depends on funding.
Don't it always?
So, yeah, and then, we'd like to do one-on-one, two-on-two multiplayer and expand into other sports.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say, like,
Mhm,
is there any, talks or ideas of spreading to other sports? I mean, basketball is a little easier just simply because, 5 on 5, and I mean, but you can sort of make it however you want. But I would imagine it would be just a smudge different if you was to do, say, football or hockey or something. It would just
mhm,
be slightly different. But I guess you could also look at it from the standpoint of the Wii model, like you said. I mean, Wii golf and Wii baseball was the jam, so
mhm.
I mean, you definitely have some opportunities there and stuff like that.
Yeah, it just depends on, like, what the technology is capable of, and that's improving every year and different platforms to put it on, including, like, the spectacles that Snap's coming out with.
Yeah, now you got the people having the actual glasses and the AR
Right.
projections and stuff. So, I mean, that would be pretty cool. I mean, I guess it would be kinda weird people playing and they in the restaurant or something and, they getting down in the chair playing defense. That would be kinda funny, but, yeah, that's pretty cool, and I mean, that technology is still pretty new, but, like, how difficult or easy has the process been, like, putting it together? I mean, game development and all of that stuff is difficult by itself, but, like, how difficult or easy has it been, doing those sort of
Well,
things?
yeah, it's just like you have to test it and see what works.
Yeah.
And just based on also, like, the first developers we used, like, the avatars they created were not very good. Their biomechanics were off. I'm like, "We need
Mhm.
some ballers on the team."
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were fortunate to find a great team and just collaborating with them is like, "This is our vision." From a game standpoint, this is what we'd like to see. We have to design it. So it's like and we've consulted with like pro players too, it's like, unfortunately, like everyone thinks like basketball is just 3-point shooting these days.
Yeah.
And it's
Yep.
like, it's really designed to play in the paint. So, and that's
Mhm.
like room scale space that's perfect for the MetaQuest headset, like a
Mhm.
6 by 6 foot play area. And so where you can just move around, laterally back and forth a couple steps. So we
Mhm.
designed the game around the physical space requirements and then also what the technology can track. Because right now the meta can't really track feet, but it
Mhm.
can really with hands. And we also sought out someone that's good with physics because we knew that the physics had to be great
Yeah.
for a sports simulation, and we've heard that. We had a meeting with the NBA front office, and they told us, "This is the best VR we've seen." So that was great early validation on
Mhm.
the technology as well. You just have to try it and test it, and it's always takes longer than you think. So, yeah, but we've got a great talented team, and
How big is the team?
yeah, we've got, like, a studio that we've partnered with and that they can, like, expand the team as needed.
Okay.
um, for right now. So, and then after we get the beta and depending on the funds raised, I'll be looking for, a co-founder that's technical and we can grow it that way.
Yeah. Cool. Well, how can people find the things that you're attached to and, find the game and all that stuff?
Sure, just go to our website, virtualroundballers.com, and you can sign up to playtest. Follow us on our socials by the same name. And if you have a MetaQuest headset or just want to try it out later, sign up.